Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramanna, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Honorable Mr. Justice L. Nageswara Rao, family members of Justice Nageswara Rao, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Learned Attorney General for India, Shri Vikas Singh, our President, Shri Pradeep Rai, Vice President, Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, President Scora, Mr. Snehashish Mukherjee, Vice President Scora, Devrat, Honorary Secretary Scora, Senior Advocates, and my fellow colleagues at the bar, a very good evening to you all. Today we have gathered here to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice L. Nageswara Rao, and it is a very emotional moment for the bar, as Sir, before his elevation as a Supreme Court judge, was practicing in this court, and we all have briefed Sir, and thereafter appeared before him and learnt a lot from him. Briefing, Sir, was always a test how well you are prepared in your matter, as Sir would have read the whole brief himself cover to cover. Sir, in his tenure of around 6 years as a Supreme Court judge, has authored more than 160 judgments and has given numerous landmark judgments, be it the Constitution Bench case related to Maratha reservation, Jarnail Singh versus Lakshmi Narayan Gupta dealing with reservation in promotion, and in the case of Madras Bar Association versus Union of India regarding the challenge to the Finance Act related to appointment of tribunal members. May I now request Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Senior Advocate and Vice President SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramanna, Honorable Attorney General for India, Sri K.K. Venugopal, Mr. President SCBA, Rahul Kaushik, Tushar Mehta ji, Solicitor General of India, Honorable Judges present here and family members of Honorable Justice Ramanna, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President Scora, Snehashish Mukherjee, Vice President Scora, Devrat, Secretary Scora, and Honorable family members of Honorable Justice L. Nageswara Rao. On every sentence, on every occasion, whenever Lordship N. Nageswara Rao today visited the library and then thereafter even came here, the clapping and the enthusiasm of bar shows that there is something happening. Honorable Justice L. Nageswara Rao served as a judge for 2,196 days. I am counting it in days because every day was some special moment for all of us. Honorable Justice Rao is a multifaceted personality. He is a very good cricket player. He played Ranji Trophy. He acted in many films as police inspector. And even in serials, Lordship went to Bombay. He did a Hindi movie called Kanoon Apna Apna, in which he acted with Kadir Khan and Sanjay Dutt. Though I wanted to dig out more, but Lordship staff says that we can't inform more than this. Lordship is a real team leader, and wherever he entered in whatever profession, be it acting, be it cricket, be it sports, be it whatever, he was on top. There is a old saying, and it's truth also, that Draupadi, the Mahabharat, this Pandavas, Dharampatni, wanted a person to marry who is humble, who is brave, high moral, good-looking, knowledgeable, kind, and loving. She ended marrying 5 persons: Yudhishthir, Arjun, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev. Madam, you prayed the same, and you got L. Nageswara Rao. Always having a successful exit, then a favorable entrance, because what matters is not being clapped when we arrive, but when person is leaving, then being remembered and clapped is more important. Honorable Lordship has contributed each and every sector. Even for our chambers, which is very important, Lordship role was commendable. Lordship, we want Honorable Justice Ramana sir also said today that chambers will be a reality very soon, within 2-3 days. But we want, sir, that the keys should be handed over within the tenure of Honorable Justice Nageswara Rao. And all the members will be very happy. Even this parking issue is there. Lordship was very positive. Honorable Justice Gawai and Honorable Justice Chandrachud, when they visited this area, they had very positive view. And they made sure almost that lawyers will get the parking very soon. Honorable Justice Surikant sir was also there in that meeting. Justice Lalit sir was there. Sorry sir, because this arrival is a bit late, so I could not see. Though any vacancy created from the bar and a person goes to the bench is a very happy moment for us. It takes some time to adjust for us also, from dear friend to lordship. I made a mistake during elections. Juniors used to call. One day I called Honorable Justice Narasimha for vote. And he said, brother, whom you are talking? Then I realized he is Honorable Justice Narasimha. So, the purpose of mentioning this, that Honorable Justice L. Nageswara Rao's vacancy cannot be filled, but this vacancy should be again created from the bar, so it should go to the bar only. And some of the deserving candidates may be sitting here. I don't know the name, but that vacancy should be filled very soon. Honorable Lordship, in the case of Madras Bar Association, made a special provision that even lawyers can be considered for the tribunals. And the tenure was also made extendable. That was not a reality previously. There was some resistance from the government, but even that is now cleared. And I hope that before leaving, few lawyers we can see in different tribunals also. Lordship likes yoga. Lordship like walking in the morning. And many other things he like, which we can mention when we go for dinner on 22nd. Thank you so much, sir, for being L. Nageswara Rao and teaching all of us. Sir, we are going to miss you forever, but I request that now you are a life member of this bar, so you can keep coming, guiding us, motivating us, and teaching us some of the skills. I welcome everyone who is present here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pradeep sir, for giving us more information related to Justice Nageswara Rao. May I now request Mr. K.K. Venugopal, the Attorney General for India, to kindly give his address.
Honorable Chief Justice N.V. Ramana, Honorable Justice Nageswara Rao, and members of his family, Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court of India assembled here, Learned Solicitor General of India, Sri Tushar Mehta, my colleagues, the law officers, President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Sri Vikas Singh, and the office bearers on the dais, Sri Pradeep Rai and Sri Rahul Kaushik, then President Sri Manoj Mishra, and the newly elected members of the Advocates on Record Association, my friends at the bar. In the good old days, there was a tradition that when a senior lawyer was asked to accept a judgeship of the High Court, he would invariably say yes. He would not then think of the wealth that he could have acquired by continuing to practice as a lawyer, the houses that he could have built with the monies that he had made, the travels which he could have undertaken perhaps to the Antarctica or the Arctic. And this, of course, meant that he knew that he would be opting for the very hard life of a judge, who would be loaded with cases to be studied day after day, right through the year. It's therefore this great credit to the senior lawyers of the Supreme Court who have been practicing, who did not hesitate to say yes when the Chief Justice of India requested them to accept a Supreme Court judgeship. Justice Nageswara Rao is one among the few who were prepared to give up all the money that he was making as a very senior lawyer with a tremendous practice at the bar, all that he gave up. In fact, I remember Justice Tirath Thakur, then Chief Justice of India, telling me as to how relieved he was that Justice Nageswara Rao had accepted this honor. But I know that a few senior lawyers had turned down such requests as they were not prepared to make what would amount to a sacrifice of their own financial well-being. Justice Nageswara Rao is a unique person with varied interests. He is a cricketer par excellence. I am told that he was a Ranji Trophy player. He was also, and this I learned just now by making some inquiries, a film actor in his young age. He was traditionally in Delhi, the bench and the bar play an annual cricket match, and invariably the team for which Justice Rao played would have the upper hand. In fact, the lawyers perhaps would not be prepared to play against the judges in future, as in the last match, where Justice Nageswara Rao was the captain. I believe that the lawyers were roundly defeated. Perhaps the lawyers will once again come into their own in the next bench match between the bench versus bar match. Justice Nageswara Rao and I have one thing in common, namely a love of reading about courtroom battles depicted in Perry Mason, John Grisham's Sidney Sheldon, and other similar novels. Being unburdened of the 60 to 70 cases on a miscellaneous day which the judges of the Supreme Court have to read by burning the midnight oil, I hope Justice Rao would now be able to relax and devote himself to more leisurely activities, including reading his favorite authors. Though I have no doubt that there would be tremendous demand for him to decide disputes in the field of arbitration. Before he became a judge, Justice Nageswara Rao was one among us at the Supreme Court bar, where he had one of the most successful practices, even at a comparatively young age. Of course, upon his designation as senior advocate, he was even more sought after, and I always knew that in him I had a most formidable opponent. He appeared in a slew of high-profile cases, including the disproportionate assets involving the Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, the Chinnayas case, which arose from Andhra Pradesh on reservation for scheduled castes, where even the scheduled castes were divided into 4 categories, and the higher educational institutions where they were not able to get their admissions on their own because of the categorization. In K. Prabhakaran versus Jayarajan on the interpretation of the Representation of the People Act, and many more. On the day that Justice Rao was sworn in, not just the court hall, but the corridors of the Supreme Court were packed, as a very large number of lawyers had come to attend his swearing in. This shows the tremendous goodwill that Justice Rao had generated among the colleagues at the bar. But when he lays down office, I was surprised to find that there is not a single seat which was left vacant in this hall. And that shows that his popularity continued even after he stepped down from the bench. On the bench, Justice Rao delivered as many as 163 judgments and was a part of 552 benches, many of which were on crucial issues of public importance. For example, the Vaniyar and Maratha reservation cases, the cases pertaining to securing night shelters for homeless persons in Delhi, administration of COVID-19 vaccines, issuance of guidelines regarding inadequacy of the criminal trials. In fact, I myself have appeared before Justice Rao recently in cases relating to reservation and promotions, appointment of tribunal members, which are both cases of seminal importance. If one were to exhaustively list out each one of his landmark judgments, including the recent Perarivalan case, one might well take several hours, and I would not wish to do so in the short time that we have at this gathering. An extraordinary lawyer, a 2-time additional Solicitor General of India, a deeply learned judge, talented cricketer, there seems to be nothing that Justice Rao cannot succeed at. His decision to devote the rest of his legal career to public service by accepting justice judgeship would not have been an easy choice given his successful practice. This is a test of the strength of character. On behalf of everyone gathered here today, I thank Justice Rao for his services, wish him all the very best for the next phase of his professional life. Going by past precedent, I have no doubt that it would be a most successful career. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're absolutely right. It was a lot of sacrifice for Justice Nageswara Rao to leave his flourishing practice. He was one of the best lawyers in Supreme Court too, and finally took up the judgeship in Supreme Court. And just one more factor, at least in my last 18-20 years, in the annual cricket match, this was the first time I think the CJ11 won, and they defeated the SCB President 11 very badly. And Justice Nageswara Rao was leading the team for CJ11 this time. And one more factor, the whole auditorium is full. I just wish to the popularity of Justice Nageswara Rao on a Friday when most of the lawyers normally go out for vacation. They all waited and all here just shows the popularity of Justice Nageswara Rao. May I now request Mr. Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate and President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Nageswara Rao, family members of Justice Nageswara Rao, learned judges of this court, learned Attorney General for India, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Solicitor General for India, law officers of the Government of India, Manoj Mishra, President SCORA, Mr. Pradeep Rai, Rahul Kaushik, our Vice President and Secretary SCBA, members of the SCBA committee, members of the bar. Today is a very emotional moment because we are losing one of the finest judges that we had in the court as of today. And before I say what I had planned to say, I must narrate a couple of incidents that happened today itself with regard to Justice Nageswara Rao's retirement. I got a phone call in the morning from Justice Narasimha that me and Justice Rao will just come to the corridor and meet the members of the bar. So a lot of us were waiting for him there. He intermingled with the members of the bar. He had coffee in the coffee room with all of us. While going back, I said, why don't you come to library 2 and the ladies' bar room? So we went to the library 2 also. But the kind of reception he got in the ladies' bar room is not something which I have seen anybody get in this court. He got a rousing reception with clapping in the ladies' bar room, and they were all ladies who were ecstatic that Justice Rao is there with them. There was a celebration also going on. They made them cut the cake for that celebration of whoever's, I think Garima Prasad's senior designation was being celebrated. So the kind of popularity amongst the lady members is something which will make the other male judges of this court definitely envious. I'm sure that may not be possible for probably any other judge. The other thing which came to my mind and which I thought I must share today, that this is one instance where the Bar Association feels that we should pass a resolution, at least for judges who have practiced in this court, to be permitted to practice again after retirement. Whatever be the constitutional amendment, etc., we'll have to look into that later. But at least from our side, we resolved that Justice Rao should be allowed to practice back in Supreme Court, because the way he spent that time in the afternoon today, I could really feel that he really was missing out all this being on the bench, And he was feeling that probably whether he will be able to come like this so often or not. Of course, that he will be. And I offered on behalf of the entire bar that we will be always welcoming you whenever you want to come to the bar and visit us and spend some time with us. Justice Rao was born on 8th of June 57 in Pedandipadu, Chirala, Prakasam district, Andhra Pradesh, and did his schooling from Loyola Public School, Guntur. He went on to pursue law from AC College of Law, Guntur. Thereafter, he got a degree in BCom BL from Nagarjuna University, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. He had a deep sense of commitment to serving the people at large and therefore started preparing for the civil service initially. It is the fortune of the legal profession and the legal fraternity and misfortune of the administrative service that Justice Rao served the public first as a great lawyer and later as an eminent judge of the apex court. Justice Rao started his legal career and enrolled as an advocate of the Bar Council of Andhra Pradesh on 29 July 1982. Being a first-generation lawyer, he says that his entry into the profession was accidental because he was practicing for civil. He had no planning to come to the legal profession. He was admitted under the wings of advocate Mr. Surya Narayana at Hyderabad, who played an instrumental role in his profession and helped him in his formative years at the bar. He started his practice at District Court, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh from 82 till 84. And from 85, he started practicing in the Andhra Pradesh High Court till December 1994. Soon thereafter, in January 95, he started practicing at the Supreme Court of India. In 2000, he was designated as a senior advocate. He was excellent at shifting his pace and style of advocacy depending on the court he was appearing before or the kind of matter that he was arguing. Justice Rao served as an additional Solicitor General from 2003 to May 2004 and again from 26 August 13 to 18 December 2014. In 14, he served on 3-member Supreme Court appointed Mudgal Committee to conduct an independent inquiry into the allegations of corruption and unfair means in the Indian Premier League cricket matches. Being an erudite senior advocate, Justice Rao represented people from all walks of life. One of the noted personalities whom Justice Rao represented was former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Ms. Jayalalitha. Justice Rao represented her before the Karnataka High Court in the disproportionate asset case and was successful in reversing the trial court judgment and getting her acquitted. He also argued for her at the Supreme Court in the Karnataka government's appeal against her exoneration. One of the last cases he argued before the Supreme Court of India was the NEET case, in which he appeared for the state of Tamil Nadu and Christian Medical College. Justice Rao was offered Supreme Court judgeship in 2014 by the then Chief Justice of India, Justice R.M. Lodha. He had, however, turned down the offer, citing personal and professional reasons. In 2016, he was again offered Supreme Court judgeship by the then Chief Justice of India, Justice T.S. Thakur. On 13th May 16, he was elevated to the as a Supreme Court judge and became the 7th person to be elevated directly from the bar. He possessed all indispensable qualities of a judge, that is vision, creativity, and compassion. A dedicated jurist, Justice Rao delivered many landmark judgments that bear testimony to his contribution to the development of law. In Buddhadev Karmaskar versus State of West Bengal, Justice Rao dealt with the matter revolving around the welfare of the sex workers in the country. During the pandemic, he directed all state governments to provide free ration on a monthly allowance to sex workers who have been neglected. He also issued directions to all state governments and union territories to issue voter ID cards, Aadhaar cards, ration cards, and other government documents. And this matter, if I am not mistaken, was listed even as late as yesterday where some directions were passed. In Narendra K. Meena, Justice Rao held that a persistent effort by wife to constrain her husband to be separated from the family constitutes an act of cruelty to grant a divorce. Justice Rao was a part of the 7-judge bench in Krishna Kumar Singh and held that repromulgation of ordinances is unconstitutional. The bench gave the verdict in this case while examining the validity of the Bihar ordinance, which was repromulgated 7 times since 1989 by the state government to confer certain benefits on Sanskrit teachers. It was later allowed to expire. Though he spoke about the state ordinance, this judgment will be binding on ordinances promulgated by the President as well. In Rupali Devi, a three-judge bench of Justice Ranjan Gogoi, Justice Rao and Justice Kaul held that women driven out of matrimonial home can file a case under 498A from the place where she has to take shelter in. In Jayashri Lakshman Rao Patil, he was part of the bench where Supreme Court struck down Maharashtra's socially and educationally backward Act of 2018, which grants reservation to the Maratha community for violating 50% limit on reservation, and the 102nd Amendment. The Honorable Supreme Court ban on seeking votes over religion, race and caste in the case of Abhiram Singh held that religion, race, caste, community or language would not be allowed to play any role in the electoral process. Justice Rao was part of the majority opinion that ruled that the Constitution forbids the state from mixing religion with politics. In the ratio of 5:3, in Kantara Rajeshwaru versus Indian Young Lawyers Association, he was part of a 9-judge bench of Justice Bobde, Justice Bhanumurthy, Justice Ashok Bhushan, Justice Rao, Justice Shantanu Gowda and Justice Nazir, and Justice Subhash Reddy, Justice Gawai and Justice Suryakant, hearing the Sabrimala reference. The bench held that the Supreme Court can refer questions of law to a larger bench while exercising its review jurisdiction after senior advocate Mr. Fali Nariman objected to how the Supreme Court turned a review of the Sabrimala case into an opportunity to set up a 9-judge bench and examine whether certain essential religious practice of various faiths, including Islam and Zoroastrianism, should be constitutionally protected. In the expeditious trial under Section 138, he was a part of the Constitution bench which held that summary trials of complaints filed under 138 are being routinely converted into summons trials in a mechanical manner, directed the High Courts to issue practice directions to the magistrates for recording cogent and sufficient reasons to do so. As an eminent jurist and a true custodian of the Constitution, Justice Rao, in one of his speeches which he delivered recently at the Soli Sorabji inaugural memorial lecture, advocated for freedom of speech and expression and said that any criticism made against a government policy or action cannot be seditious, and that views in favor of fundamental rights have to be taken when there is a conflict. He also said that hate speech, which is mischief committed by a few individuals to promote hatred amongst group, is something which has to be taken note of. And there was a proposal for amending the relevant sections of the IPC, which have not been done till now, for which there was a Law Commission recommendation as well. Regarding freedom of speech, Justice Rao said that there are 3 aspects: discussion, advocacy, and incitement. And the problem arises when there is an incitement and the government can place a restriction on freedom of speech on only those circumstances. Justice Rao possesses innumerable qualities. I was told yesterday that he likes to be very private and he doesn't want a lot of things about his personality spoken like this. But the way Mr. Pradeep Rai started off and the way the Attorney General followed, I realized that this is no secret that Justice Rao acted in movies and he had a very diverse personality of doing a large number of things, including doing acting, because acting is something which, according to me, is a very difficult one. Looks at these actors and feels it's an easy task, but I have tried, I of course never acted, but whatever little bit I've tried in school, etc., I find that it's a very difficult task. So if he's done that as well, it really proves what kind of extreme versatile he is. His son-in-law and other family members were instructed to shift practice to the High Court the moment he became a Supreme Court judge. His dearest juniors as a principal did not appear before him in the Supreme Court. This also resulted in deep admiration and respect from the members of the bar. He was an extremely good senior to his junior colleagues and had a calming presence for them. He would encourage them to work hard, and there was never any shortage of briefs to work on. He would discuss cases threadbare with his juniors, helping them understand how to approach different cases with confidence. He would read briefs on flights and in the car. When waiting in court, he usually found a quiet consultation room to read. Even as a judge, one could see that he tried to make the lawyer feel what is wrong with him or his case before dismissing, so that there was a learning experience even in the dismissal of this case. Justice Rao, an avid cricketer, and in this year's cricket tournament, people have been blaming me that I fixed this match to let the judges win. But I must confess here that we had our team, we had some very good players. I had a 48-year-old player who played India, Balbir Singh, Additional Solicitor General. I thought they will object to Balbir Singh playing because normally below 50 they don't allow. But this time I saw there was no objection, there was no discussion on our team. Later on, when we played the match, we realized that in earlier matches, Supreme Court used to get judges from the Delhi High Court and the Punjab and Haryana High Court being proximate courts to come and play for them. But this time, Justice Rao had something else in plan. So what he did was, he found out on the all India basis, and I don't know how did he get all this information in a short span of time, of which all judges are in practice. And then he got people from Chennai, he got from Kerala, he got from Bombay, and those judges were playing like as if they are playing cricket every day. And our cricketers, our so-called ex-Ranji, ex-India, were bold. Like I was feeling that, this is something which is something very, very wrong. So the kind of planning that was done by Justice Rao this year, and which resulted in that very beautiful picture being taken of the judges with the beautiful trophy in the judges' lounge, etc., was very heartening. That his not only his cricketing ability, but his planning of ensuring that his team wins was really commendable. And our team, went down like 9 pins. So there is no fixing from my side. I can assure the members of the bar, this was a genuine victory of the judges this time. Justice Rao is a true sports person. He has played all kinds of games. He believes in being fit. And I have seen him over the years, the way he has lost weight and the way he's behaving fit. In fact, I have said this before, and I'm reminded to say this again, that 65 is no age for a judge to retire. And I really, really feel that this age should be increased, because the kind of productive years that a judge has at 65 is completely wasted by asking him to retire at that age and lose all that he has gained over the years in the profession and his experience. Today is a last working day of the Supreme Court after the vacation, and to be honest, I must tell you, of course, I knew Justice Rao's popularity, so I knew people were planning to come, but to be honest, we are also on YouTube, and people are watching on YouTube as well. And on the last day, we have all had, we've all rushed out of the Supreme Court on the last day. Even judges leave the Supreme Court on the last day. But today, the way this hall is packed today, even the upper floor and the ground floor, I can't see a single seat vacant, shows that people have actually stayed back post-vacation just to be part of this farewell. So it's a huge testimony of the popularity of Justice Rao. And we will really, really miss him. We will, of course, not let him be away from us. He will be part of us, and we will be inviting him regularly to meet our members, to talk to our members, to share his insight of his experiences as a judge and his experiences as a senior advocate, so that our members can benefit from his experience and also get that advantage. Thank you so much. And I wish, of course, Justice Rao a very good, I would say, a third inning. Because unfortunately, if he could have come to practice with us, it would have been again his first inning, but now it will be his third inning, where probably he'll be working as an arbitrator and, of course, getting time to do whatever he would have liked to do in his free time. And I wish Mrs. Rao and the family also a great future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas sir, for giving insight into different qualities of Justice Nageswara Rao and the landmark judgment given by Justice Nageswara Rao. And you are absolutely right, 65 years is no age to retire. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramanna, Chief Justice of India, to kindly address this gathering.
my dear brother Justice Nageswara Rao, brother and sister judges of the Supreme Court of India, Sri K.K. Venugopal, Attorney General of India, Sri Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India, Sri Vikas Singh, President, Sri Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President, Sri Rahul Kaushik, Secretary, and other office bearers of the and members of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Sri Manoj Kumar Mishra, President and office bearers of the Supreme Court Advocate on Records Association, law officers, senior advocates, members of the bar, other distinguished guests, family members of Justice L. Nageswara Rao, media persons, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an emotional day for me for the reason I am losing a best friend of mine and an advisor who always kind and stand by me whenever I need. In fact, Nageswara Rao and me, he born in the month of June, I was born in the month of August 1957. Place of birth, I think, almost same. I was also born in Guntur, where my mother belongs. He is also born in Guntur, where he belongs to. And I know him when he is studying in law college. I used to stay most of the time at my uncle's house that is called Second Line Lakshmipuram in Guntur. It's one of the beautiful places in that town. All rich people and business people used to stay, and a good school is also there in that road. So he used to go by the bullet motorcycle every day to college. I still remember those days. Then he joined in AC College, and I joined in the University of Nagarjuna. And Rao is a very disciplined man from the very beginning. I am a little indisciplined in that sense. Because the college which he studied is a very disciplined college. They are more focused on education, discipline and all that. Whereas the university which we joined, every day we used to go for strike, agitation, taking up the issues and all that. He joined in 1982, July, and enrolled as a member of the bar. I joined January 1983. And he practiced, started his career with initially in Guntur district courts. Thereafter he shifted to the High Court. There is a giant lawyer, Y. Suryanarayana. He is respected by one and all. He joined there as a junior. Slowly, he has taken up almost his office. He became so popular. He's a very, very famous service lawyer. He's a great lawyer also. He doesn't bother about money or anything. All the important service matter has to go before to him only. All these people who are in service disputes is to prefer him. And he has a habit of saying that he doesn't care whether he is an IAS officer or a attender. He chooses when the clients are waiting in the hall. He will go and call, suddenly pick up one attender. Come on, what is your problem? I will defend you. The IAS officer, IPS officer who was waiting hours together, they used to feel bad. What is this? He is calling a small man and taking up his case, and our case is not up. So he doesn't bother and doesn't care. And he doesn't bother about money also, that is his character. Some of those things has learned my brother Nageswara Rao. That's why he was very popular in service jurisprudence and in the employees of the state. Later on, he shifted to Delhi. It's an adventure because it's not an easy thing to come to Delhi. There is no grandfather, no godfather, nobody. He has taken a bold decision. He came here. He joined here, started practice. He has come up. The rest of the story, majority of the members of the bar knows. His hard work and his kindness, his concern in intellectual capacity, these are the characters which are made him a great lawyer in this court. He was the additional Solicitor General for 2 terms, and he made a mark as the additional Solicitor General because of his hard work, and he was a dedicated additional Solicitor General of the country. And when he resigned, second time I remember, I asked him, why are you resigning? It's a very good post, you may have further chances in this line. He said that, no, I am suffocated of this job. I want to be a free lawyer. I want to defend cases in my own way. And the same way he continued as a judge also. I think he has not completely opened up his mind. 1 or 2 occasions, even after 1 or 2 years of his elevation, when we both are traveling, sometimes we frequently travel, same day, Friday evening to Hyderabad. So when he sat next to me, I asked, how are you and how are you doing as a judge? He said, still I am not comfortable, I am not adjusted, after 2 years also. He loves more be an independent lawyer than a judge. But however, he has not forgotten that the duty of the judgeship. He worked hard and he decided cases boldly, independently. He appeared while as additional Solicitor General, the Hyder consultant case, where a leading case under interpretation of Section 31(7) of the Arbitration Act. He was also argued that famous case of Subramania Swamy, Union of India, where the constitutionality of criminal defamation. Apart from that, he appeared number of high-profile cases. He is most sought of lawyer, particularly the important people in the public life, particularly politicians. Not only in Supreme Court, he is to travel throughout country. I think he has completed all the high courts except 1 or 2. And he is a member of Hon'ble committee, which was appointed by the Supreme Court to probe about the allegations of corruption against the BCCI and spot fixing of IPL matches. 13th May 2016, he was elevated to the judge. He is the 7th person who was elevated from the members of the bar straight. Justice Nageswara Rao played a vital role in expounding law. He was authored several important judgments. The President of Bar Association, Mr. Vikas Singh, has referred almost all the cases, but I will refer only the cause titles of the judgments. The Madras Bar Association is a very important judgment. I am not criticizing the government or saying anything. The power of the high courts was taken away and we created a tribunal system. And of late we see weakening of the systems. So that time, the Madras Bar Association case, he has decided, and he is the main force to structure the tribunal system in this country, which is a great contribution to the tribunals in this country. He was also a member of the 7-judge bench of Supreme Court in India. In Krishna Kumar Singh held the promulgation of ordinance is unconstitutional. Apart from that, Abhiram Singh case about the appeal of in the name of religion, race, caste, community or language is impermissible under the Representation of People's Act. He was also member of Jai Sri Lakshman Rao Patil was a chief minister who where they decided about the reservation of Marathas. Recently, the judgment about the vaccines, liberty of body, Jacob Pulial, where he held that no individual can be forced to be vaccinated, and that forcing someone would go against the ethos of Article 21. And recently, 2 days back, I think he exercised Article 142 to grant bail to Azam Khan by an innovative way to protect the liberty of the person. In addition to that, his two major contributing judgments about the criminal justice system. One is about the expediting trial of criminal trials in the country. Second is the cases under the Negotiable Instrument Act. You know, after the amendment to the Negotiable Instrument Act, the trial court virtually choked. Thousands of cases were filed, and the casualty is the other criminal trials. So he has taken care. Normally, these type of matters will be taken up by the judges who has elevated from the High Court judges, because they know the problems of the trial courts and all that. But it's a great thing that Nageswara Rao, even though he's a direct elevatee of the Supreme Court bar, has taken up and decided these cases and framed the guidelines. Brother Justice Nageswara Rao's retirement is a huge loss personally to me as well as the members of the bar and bench. His keen analytical skills and passion for the cause of justice will be thoroughly missed by all of us. The story of his growth in the profession will remain as an inspiration for many young lawyers and judges. Brother Nageswara Rao is one of the founders of the International Arbitration and Mediation Center at Hyderabad. Under his excellent leadership, I am sure the center will emerge as one of the leading hubs of arbitration and mediation in this part of the world. His proficiency is not limited in the legal field, but also extends to the cricket pitch. He played for his university and also went on to play in the Ranji Trophy tournament in 1982. His passion for the sport is one of the reasons why he is so spirited and sharp. He has been the captain of both Lions cricket team as well as judges team. Already Mr. Vikas Singh said that recently under his captaincy we won the match, and this is the first time against the Lions. Brother Nageswara Rao is a fine golf player also. He is also an avid biker since his youth. He is, I don't want to say that acting, he is a very passionate, he is very passionate about acting, arts and music. I am sure he will find time for new adventures after this break from his hectic schedule as a judge. I can speak even more on Brother Justice Nageswara Rao's achievement, but I must also speak about his nature. He is a very quiet man with a reflective attitude. He always known for his extremely soft-spoken, both lawyer as well as judge. 2 days back, when I am interacting with him, I asked Justice Nageswara Rao, Nageswara Rao, are you also used to shout in the courts like some of our lawyers? Because I am also scared of shouting. He said that, sorry Ramana, as a judge and as an advocate, I never shouted. I am scared of people who are shouting. I run away from that place. That is what he said. His work ethic is very well known to all of you. He is certainly a jewel of the bar and reminded as one of the favorite seniors. Generations of young lawyers should attempt to live up to his example. He strongly believes in giving back something to the society and leads by example. He left a roaring practice adorn the bench to render justice. Not everyone can think of making such a sacrifice. His father, late Lavu Venkateshwarlu Garu, was an agro entrepreneur with a social consciousness and committed to society. It is his ideals that inspired my brother Justice Nageswara Rao to adopt his village and bring in an era of growth and progress. Brother Nageswara Rao, you live long in the hearts of the legal fraternity. My greetings to Revered Mother Nagendrama Garu and Madam Sivakumari Garu, who are two strong pillars of support for Brother Justice Nageswara Rao. His adorable daughters Radhika and Deepika have distinguished themselves in their chosen fields, and he is extremely proud of them. I am glad that finally he will have enough time to spend with his family, especially with his grandchildren. I wish all for Brother Nageswara Rao's family the best of health and happiness. I am sure Justice Nageswara Rao will always contribute to the growth of legal community. On behalf of my colleagues and myself, I wish him fulfilling post-retirement life, good health, success in all future endeavors. Thank you very much for giving this.
Thank you, sir. It's very inspirational to know that how Justice Nageswara Rao started from the district court in Andhra Pradesh and finally became one of the top counsels in Supreme Court and then as a Supreme Court judge. We all have been waiting here to hear from Justice Nageswara Rao. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice L. Nageswara Rao, Judge Supreme Court of India, to deliver his address.
Justice Ramana, the Chief Justice of India, the evergreen Mr. K.K. Venugopal, to whom I look forward to. He's about 90. So I think I'm old at 65. So I see him and then I'm happy that I can go on for another 25 years at least. Vikas Singh, President of the Bar Association. Mr. Rai, Vice President, Rahul, the Secretary, my brother and sister judges, the Solicitor General and the other law officers, senior advocates, members of the Advocates on Record Association under the able guidance of Manoj, the President, my dear members of the Bar Association. I'm not only humbled, but I'm floored seeing the sort of affection that is shown by all of you. When I thought of coming to Delhi, there was a lot of opposition from my family as well as friends. They were telling me, you're doing so well here, why do you want to go to Delhi not knowing what's going to happen there? But I should tell the younger members of the bar, unless you take up a challenge, you will not succeed. And you should realize that practicing in any court, especially the Supreme Court, is a challenge by itself. Even thinking of coming and practicing here is a challenge to start with. And thereafter, to realize your dreams, you will have to really work hard. And with the sort of competition that is there in the legal profession today, you have to dream, and then you have to realize your dreams only if you work for that, and then only you will be able to succeed. When I came to this court, I thought that I've made the last journey, and this will be the place where I'll go away from. But after practicing here for a long number of years, and that too working day in and out, I had a feeling that I should call it a day around 60 or 65, go back to Hyderabad and come here once in a while, not stop working, but do something more where I can help the underprivileged people of the society. That proved to be my weakness. In 2014, when I was offered judgeship, I accepted to start with. And after spending a week in the verandas, I was thinking, how can I go away to the other side and I'll be missing these verandas of the Supreme Court. I went back to Justice Loda and then told him, sir, I don't want to accept, I'll withdraw my acceptance. Then he said, why? Having given your acceptance, why are you taking it back? I had a reason then, because I was supporting a number of youngsters for their education. I had also taken up some projects where village has to be developed. And I was really not very comfortable with leaving the verandas as being a lawyer. But then he said, I understand, and then he said, it's all right. Again, when I was offered in 2016, I was not prepared. I was actually in a part heard, as Mr. Vikas Singh was mentioning. I was arguing before Justice Dave, appearing for the Christian Medical College. The matter was listed next day. I got a call from Justice Thakur at 9 o'clock. I didn't know that it was for this. I went to his place then. He asked me, you have to accept now. 2 years has passed. You must have made enough money in these 2 years. So don't say no. Then I told him, let me think about it. I want to speak to my daughters. I want to speak to my wife. I'll come back to you tomorrow. Then he said, no, I'm not going to give you time. Last time also you gave consent and then withdrew. Then he told me that it seems you wanted to go away from this court at the age of 60 or 65. You will never be able to go away. If you accept judgeship, at least definitely after 65, you will have to go. There's no way you can practice here after 65. I don't know, I shouldn't say it, but some weak moment I accepted. And then I told him, I thought I can go back again next day and tell him. Then he said, he called the registrar and then he said, you have all the papers which he gave us 2 years back, and the other 3 judges who have given their consent are waiting. I can't wait. Tomorrow morning the papers have to be sent. I told him that I have some parterds. Then he said, nothing, it's over. I had to give up everything, and then I really loved being a lawyer. The profession has given me everything in life, my recognition. I really loved being a lawyer. Not even a day I thought that I was in the wrong profession. Even now I keep telling my colleagues who sit with me that I miss being on the other side. When I became a judge, I was telling this in the court. I met Justice Gogoi. He was not a Chief Justice then. He told me that for you, there's not much of a difference. It's just you're walking through the other door instead of the front door. You're going to the same courtroom. After a year or year and a half, I told him that I still think like a lawyer. And he said that you continue to think like a lawyer. That will be better because you understand the lawyers better. My achievements, if at all there are any, is because of the support I got from the bar. Actually, my strength is the bar. The reason for that is, I know almost all of you. Not only knowing you, I worked with most of you. We worked together. I've appeared before most of the lawyers. So, having undergone the trials and tribulations in the profession to start with when I came here, I know exactly what are the challenges of a lawyer are. When somebody stands and argues, and sometimes they overshoot, argue something which is not necessary, or even don't stop when we ask them, we understand. At least people from the bar, not that the other judges don't understand. With their experience, they definitely understand what it is all about. But I stand in your shoes when I'm sitting there as a judge. But being a human being, even I have been harsh to lawyers. I ask your forgiveness for being impertinent, impatient sometimes. But Vikas Singh was talking about my acting capabilities. So I was into theatre when I was in college. So one of my cousins was a director. He asked me to act in a film. It was a very short role, and that there ended the matter. I didn't want to become an actor to start with. And all of you know that lawyers act in court. Judges judges also do. When there is some heat in the court, so we try to control the lawyers by bringing in a truce between two lawyers who are at the neck of each other by acting, sometimes telling them please slow down, sometimes raising their voice, at least to drown the voices of the lawyers. So acting is a part of the profession. And sometimes I used to ask lawyers, when they're shouting at each other, are you like this outside the court? And they are not. They go to the coffee shop and have their coffee. So acting is a part of it. And about cricket. Cricket has been a passion from my childhood. And even now when I work, the TV is on. The IPL matches go on. So part of my life, and golf now for the past 10 years. I have a group of judges with whom I've been playing golf. I really enjoy Friday evenings and Saturdays when I play golf with them. Or otherwise, I play golf with Jayan Bhushan and other lawyers. I've been doing it for a long time. I love being active, and sport also has taught me a lot of things in life. First thing is, don't sulk when you lose. And losing something is only a stepping stone to success. You have to lose to know the value of success. And I've been playing for the lawyers after I came here against the judges. Never did we win. Vikas Singh, you're wrong. We didn't win at all. And all the time I used to ask the lawyers, why are you not winning against the judges? Only a few times we won. But this year's match, definitely it is not fixed. And I did not plan at all. I didn't even know who was coming. All credit goes to Justice Sundaresh. I didn't even know that there were 11 judges to play cricket on that day. When we asked the judges for their consent, there were only 3 people who gave consent. I told the Chief Justice, we'll postpone this match. I can't go play cricket with 3 people. So Sundaresh, me and another judge. But thereafter, the Chief Justice of India persuaded the other judges to come, and some judges came from the Madras High Court and the Kerala High Court, and as Vikas Singh was saying, they were playing like regular cricketers. And that's the nemesis of the Bar Association. Balbir Singh was definitely playing very well along with the others, but we proved to be much better. So the Bar Association, beware, from next year you have Sundaresh taking my place. So there was no fixing. So we won, and we got a cup which is much bigger than the World Cup. So it is kept in our lounge. Every day I go and see the cup, and then I'm so proud that we have won such a big cup. It will be there for the next year or two. My dear friends, I had a very smooth ride. I was very fortunate in getting breaks at the right time. Opportunity is something which is very important. I have always been saying that there are much better lawyers or people who are much more competent than me. But I've been very lucky in getting that opportunity. And the other thing is, I've utilized that opportunity. I'm a man of average intelligence. I don't claim to be having a super intelligence, and then I can understand things very fast. I make it up by working that extra hours. When I came here to practice, I saw that there were brilliant lawyers. And I remember the words of Mr. P.P. Rao, late P.P. Rao, who passed away, coming from the same state. He gave me a piece of advice. He said that all individuals do not have the same intelligence, but whoever works harder, if they are definitely not having the same IQ, you'll be able to reach there. And I think it worked very well for me. I worked those extra hours. Even till yesterday night, I've been reading briefs for yesterday's court. Only today I didn't read any because I was sitting with the Chief Justice of India. And the work has become a routine now. And going away from the portals of this court, I'm not going to just stay at home. I'm going to work, whatever work that comes my way. Now that I'm retiring, I can say a few words on the retirement age, which the Attorney General has been speaking continuously about 65 being a very young age for Supreme Court judges. I'll give another dimension. Judges who come here from the high courts, the average time that they get is 4 to 5 years. They have been judges of the High Court for about 15 years to almost 17 years or what. By the time they come here and they adjust to the court work here, people like Justice Khanvilkar, they were practicing here, it's much easier for them. But for judges coming from the other high courts who have not seen the Supreme Court, how it works, a judge told me that it takes about 1.5 to 2 years for them to understand how the court functions here, because it's completely different from the high courts. And by the time they get their bearings, they're looking at the retirement in another 6 months or 1 year. Even to head a bench, it takes that much time. Nobody starts heading a bench for about 2 years. So the time to really contribute to the march of law, they get a very short period. For us from the bar, this is something new, being a judge. Though we have been lawyers, we have been in this court, we know most of the branches of law, we have dealt with them. It's much more easier for us because we know all of you, but judging is a completely different art. At least to get used to that art, it takes at least 3-4 years' time, or at least 3 years' time. And when we are fully prepared, the time has come to go. So my suggestion is that judges who are coming to the Supreme Court should have a minimum of 7-8 years, if not 10 years. Whether you increase the age or not, only then you will get the best out of the person who's working here as a judge. I've been here for 6 years. But with every day, my confidence that I have control over the court and then I have control over whatever is happening in the court increases. I'm pretty comfortable now with the court, but I'm gone. This, I think, is something which needs consideration by whoever is competent to take decisions. When you choose judges, I'm not saying don't bring judges for 3-4 years, but you'll have to have that much time for a person who's coming here to get the best out of that judge. And especially in the Supreme Court, where you're deciding matters of huge importance for the country, for the citizens. And mind you, members of the bar, that you're the foot soldiers of the Constitution. And the rule of law would be in safe hands only with the bar playing a very active role. Judges by themselves cannot run the court. It's only because of a strong bar that the judges would be able to really contribute to the march of law and to ensure that the rights of citizens are protected. We are now in the highest court of the land. As and when somebody has a problem about violation of any rights, where will they go? They go to constitutional courts, and unless you raise the voice on behalf of a citizen, it's not even heard anywhere. And you have a very active bar. And the Supreme Court Bar Association has been at the forefront in respect of protection of civil rights in this country. I've been a beneficiary of the bar. I've benefited so much being a member of the Supreme Court Bar Association. And I should congratulate the Executive Committee of the Supreme Court Bar Association, headed by Mr. Vikas Singh, for the help that they rendered to the lawyers, families, lawyers who died during COVID. And I understand there are a large number of lawyers who were really seriously affected by the COVID for about 1.5, 2 years. Some of them have packed and gone home. We don't know whether they have come back. But the Supreme Court Bar Association has taken care of its members very well. I'm sure that the Supreme Court Bar Association will take steps to ameliorate the well-being of all its members, to help them achieve their dreams. Lastly, I should say that it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have always